Before we get started, do me a favor and smash that like button. I'd appreciate it.
So here's, if we just jump into the questions that came from the video about the DGuard G-Pool interview. And, the one on top here is from Maria de Sevilla, I guess. It says, hello, Teddy, could you please ask about their plans to create a more secure wallet than MetaMask to connect to the liquidity pool, and in the meantime, how to go about to have more security with MetaMask. Thank you. Best regards. And then there's 7 thumbs up on that, so that's something that people are interested in. Of course, we know that the G-Pool team is working on let's call it a clone of the MetaMask wallet, an improvement of it, and when exactly that's going to be out, we don't know, but we will actually, I think that'd be a good question to put to him when we get that chance to next week.
Yeah, definitely.
Right.
I'm anxious for that because I've got 170 Theta sitting in that wallet that I can't access with the MetaMask wallet. So,
right.
It's my understanding that the wallet that they're going to release will, handle Theta as well as T-Fuel. So,
right.
I'm looking forward to that.
The next question from TDB78 says, hey, Teddy, I would like to know when LP staking for T-Bill USDC will be available. And he says, thanks for your great work. So we all want to know that one as well.
Oh, yeah.
These timing issues, I don't know that we're going to get much, direct reply on that. It would be nice if they said, yeah, we have this, we're going to do it on this date. But just like you said, it's when you hear that deadline swooshing by.
Yep.
Setting deadlines is good actually to motivate a team.
Yes,
to have a deadline.
More often than not,
when
that's exactly what they do is swish by.
Right. When you throw it out there to the public, we're going to have this done by this date. Oh man, that really creates a lot of problems if they can't accomplish that for whatever reason.
Oh yeah,
so
it's best
I know
not
why they don't
to give a hard and fast date.
Right. So, but hey, we ought to at least ask the question. So
yeah.
Chris Roberts says, hi Teddy, I have a couple of questions. It says, and I thought this is a thought-provoking question here. It really is. It says, with the Fed continually printing, there is a real risk that the U.S. dollar dies. Historically, all fiat currencies have gone to zero at some point, so it seems practical to assume that USD will eventually. If this was to occur, how would this affect T-bill pairs with T-Fuel and USDC? One of the big attractions of joining the pool was the impermanent loss factor, but I wonder if it would make more money selling the top of T-Fuel. I realize it would be pretty hard to sell the top, but if I did, would I not be better of doing that than holding my tokens in the liquidity pool? I tried to model this using the weekly percentage rises of Theta during its run-up to $15 and back down to today's price of $3 roughly. And according to my calculations, selling the top or even laddering out would have been the better option. Cue the music. So Chris is wondering about the death of the dollar. And of course, since we all live in the dollar, golly, that's
going to be a hard one to answer.
What happens if the things you own and value in dollar standards go and the dollar disappears? Then what happens? Well, this is why we talk about having physical, right?
Right.
Precious metals or other physical things that you can use to barter with, and that kind of thing. So, there's some real concern there. Definitely, if if the dollar goes to zero, where does Bitcoin go? Well, it goes to zero, right?
Well, yeah. I
What,
mean,
you know, how are
anything
you
that's
going to?
that's denominated in the U.S. dollar it'll play havoc with it, you know, and
Yeah. It,
so
Now, eventually, you go, well, then I have the Bitcoin. Let's say if we just use that for a minute, if we say, well, you have the BTC, then that you could do a peer-to-peer transfer, and it would eventually come about having a value just because what you would be willing to trade for, the, you know, for that Bitcoin that you hold. So, would you not be able to do the same thing with T-Fuel and or Theta or T-bill? I would say you could, if you were dealing with other people and say, well, I've got this currency and I'd be willing to, trade this for that. And so it does become something that you could trade peer to peer,
it would become more of a barter system.
Right. Of course, right now we value all these things in terms of the U.S. dollar, or I guess if you're, in Europe, you're looking at it in terms of the euro and so on, pesos somewhere else and so on. But right now, we deal in USD. So if USD goes to zero, now
I don't think
all of them
USD will
have.
go away totally. It'll be replaced with something.
And it'll probably be replaced with another USD. Right.
Yeah, maybe some kind of a gold standard or silver standard or something. But
Right.
the idea that it'll just disappear, I don't think that'll ever happen. Because I mean, it couldn't. They'll figure out a way, to keep it going. But
Right.
the weaker the U.S. dollar gets, the stronger the various cryptos get, in my opinion. I would think. What do you think?
Yes. I mean, I think that's why we see Bitcoin going to 40, 50, 60,000 and then maybe even into the millions just because of the devaluation of the dollar itself. It just takes more of those dollars to buy that same object, BTC or Theta or T-Fuel or the house next door. It's just going to take more of those dollars to purchase the same thing just because it's worth less than it was before.
Matter of fact,
So,
this goes back a year or two, but I remember seeing something about in the situation in Venezuela with the what is it, the Bolivar, I guess is what it's called.
right.
And they basically said that at that time, and again, this was 2-3 years ago now, but they said that 1 ounce of physical silver would buy 3 months worth of food
Right.
at that time. And because people that had food were willing, they put that much value on physical silver because that was something they felt that they could depend on.
Right.
So
And yeah, so really in kicking this question around here about the risk that are involved with holding cryptocurrencies valuated or denominated in USD, well, you might be better off holding another physical object
yeah,
than a cryptocurrency. But the currencies, all fiat currencies fail. We know that. That's history. History says that's going to happen. Is it going to be tomorrow or next year or 10 years from now? That's impossible to know.
yeah,
Obviously, we do see the dollar devaluing, but it's designed to devalue. That is in the makeup of the way the dollar works, is that it devalues.
yeah. The Federal
So-
Reserve, saying we want, we're trying to get this target of inflation. It's like, well, you would think the target for inflation would be 0, but they keep wanting to do 2%, but I've never known them to succeed. So
Well, they surpassed it now. So
yeah, by a considerable amount.
right. So okay. No, Now Good says, is there some way to check your LP activity without connecting your wallet? Like you can see your wallet on the Theta blockchain. I want to check it when not home in front of my computer.
Yes.
You know, I have the same
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. And
Go
you
ahead.
can
Answer that.
your Theta wallet.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just the address. Just pop it into the Explorer, and it'll show you. You know how much T drop you've got, how much T bill you've got, and how much T fuel you've got. You know, I mean, I've done that a number of times. So yeah, you don't
In
have
your
to.
Theta wallet or your MetaMask wallet?
Well, the MetaMask wallet is actually a Theta wallet address.
Ah.
Yeah, I don't know if you knew that or not, but yeah, it is.
No,
You know,
I mean, I've put that in there, but I guess I haven't done that as a, okay.
yeah, you just
haven't-
go up there and hit that copy button next to the address,
Mhm.
and then you open
Mhm.
up the Theta Explorer, and it would work, I guess, in Theta Scan as well. But yeah, you just pop it in there, and you can see everything that's in that wallet. Well, not all of the assets are Theta assets, and so. But it shows you T drop, it shows you T bill, shows you T fuel, and it'll show you the Theta token itself. Which, of course, with the MetaMask, you can't actually access your Theta, but it does show that it's there.
All right.
And so that's what I recommend that people do is use the Blockchain Explorer to look at their wallet, because really all they're interested in is how much T-bill do I have, how much T-fuel do I have.
Right.
And
Well,
that's right there.
And the LP, that's what I've come to understand is knowing how much of the LP token you have.
Oh, yeah,
is,
that's not that's not available
because-
on the blockchain.
Right. Right. But that in itself is what gives you that's your claim check to
Yeah,
that T fuel and that T bill.
Exactly.
If you want
Yeah.
to sell out.
Yeah.
So okay. So there we go. Now good. Jerry Channing said, I've noticed that not only the amount of T-bill varies based on the rebasing, but the amount of T-fuel seems to change, not by a lot, but it also goes up and down. I thought only T-bill amounts change. Why is this? We've talked about this on previous videos, but to just cover it again for Jerry, and that value that you see in your TVL of T-fuel and of T-bill, that's a representation of your percentage of the pool. And so of the total pool, if you own 0.01 whatever percentage of the pool at the time that is put up there, it's your percentage of the pool. So we know the pool, the number of T-bill and the number of T-fuel are changing in the pool all the time. That's why a pool needs to exist, is so that people that need T-bill can swap their T-fuel, therefore more T-fuels in the pool, for T-bill. Therefore there's less T-bill in the pool. And so those numbers are changing all the time, and just depend on whenever that number was obtained, that is your percentage multiplied by the total numbers of T-fuel and the total number of T-bill in the pool.
And that's
why
updated
your
every
number
10
changes.
minutes.
Yeah, it's updated. Yeah, there you go. So that's why that number seems to change there, Jerry. Keegan, Uncommon Success, has 3 questions. What can we as a community do to support T-bill? And I thought these are good, insightful questions here. What can we do as a community to support T-bill? Well, I think, Ted, you were definitely doing one of the very basic things that's needed, and that's just you're learning about it and then disseminating information about it. That is a supported T-bill. It's doing away with misconceptions that people have about what it is one of the things we can do to help T-bill. Would he, I guess he's talking about DGuard, would he like T-bill LP users creating their own websites or content and graphs to support onboarding more users to T-bill. I would say he would.
Yeah,
He
certainly can't hurt as long as you're accurate in what you're putting out.
Exactly. And there's another individual that's already done this, Maximus. I see him in the Discord all the time. He created a web page with all this information going up on his web page just to support T-bill. That's part of what he's doing. And so, and I know DGARD has approved that. Has approved what Maximus has done with that web page. So I would say he would approve that for anybody. Getting the word out, supporting the product that he's putting out there is certainly something I'm sure DGARD would be behind. And then question number 3, what use case does he see for T-bill outside of the G world? And would it be a good alternative to T-Fuel for Open Theta, for example, because of its lower volatility? So, yeah, that would certainly be a question for DGARD. Use cases outside of G World, which I'm assuming he's talking about G World and G Twins and the wallet itself and whatever else he might have in mind. Of course, different staking pools and so on. So
yeah, I don't think that he intended for T-bill to replace T-Fuel. It's
right, nor would it need to, in that T-bill, as we discussed, gets its value from T-Fuel. So it would just create more work on the part of Open Theta or anybody that's trying to accept now a second type of currency.
Yeah.
That is T-bill into their payment system. Because T-bill gets its value straight from T-Fuel anyway. So might as well use T-Fuel there and keep things a little more simple. But, maybe he would support it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Rainier Alfonso asked a question. He says, can you please ask him to explain in simple terms and with a straight answer to the following?
Good luck. Sometimes that's...
Well, this goes back... This actually goes back to the things that we've already talked about. And so we can answer this, Rainier, for you. I started contributing to the pool with 11,500 T-bill and its equivalent in T-fuel. I reinvest my profits every day. I see the quantity of T-fuel increasing from the original amount, but the amount of T-bill has decreased considerably to 9,800. Why is this? Also, I need a minimum of 10,000 T-bill for my 1.5 multiplier. Will I lose my 1.5 rewards? Thank you. So let's start with the last question first.
Yeah, well,
I don't know.
I'm not sure I understand what he's saying.
You need a minimum of 10,000 T-bill for your 1.5 multiplier.
Yeah, he doesn't.
Your
1.5
multiplier, right, is whatever T-bill you have, whether it's 1 or 10,000, it is going to be multiplied by 1.5 up to the amount of your multiplier. And I'm assuming you have a 10,000 T-bill 1.5 multiplier, I'm guessing. So
or that's his goal of for when it mints, that he has at least that amount. But,
maybe. And of course he started off with more, now it's less. So let's talk about that. You start off with 11,500 T-bill and now it's 9,800. And why is that? Well, it's the rebasing. You must have started off right kind of at the peak of before we had this bit of a downturn last week in the price of T-fuel. And with the downturn of the price of T-fuel, that of course meant T-bill was going low in its price, which means they needed to rebase and do a contraction of the T-bill supply to bring the price of T-bill back up to the target price, or to be within the target range of equilibrium. So they rebased, I think, 4 days in a row, which means they, in the contraction phase, which means they brought out or soaked up part of the supply, thus raising the price of T-bill. And that's why it appears that you have less T-bill. Well, you do have less T-bill, but the value of that T-bill is the same. If they hadn't rebased, then the value of it, the dollar price of it, would keep going down. So if you multiplied 11,500 by whatever that low price figure is, you would come up with a dollar amount. Or they rebase, they soak up part of the supply. Now you have 9,800 T-bill times the $1.05 or whatever they rebased it to, and now you have a price. Those two prices are going to be the same because they brought the dollar price of T-bill up, and by rebasing it or contracting the supply.
Yeah, it's kind of
you
like
still have the same value.
Right. It's kind of like the reverse of the analogy of you've got a $5 bill and I take that and give you 5 ones. Well, when it goes into contraction, it's like they're taking the 5 ones and giving you a $5 bill. Your total value is the same. It's just, you know, how many pieces of paper do you have in your hand at any given point, you know, but your purchasing power remains the same.
Right. So, and you don't need any minimum amount in order to reap the rewards of a multiplier. So, just to clarify that. So that takes care of that question. And there was a Felipe Cavaco also had responded to that, and his response was a negative rebase. So that's, you know, he was right in his response there. So
yeah,
got answered from a couple of different people. Stephen Dodd says, do the 1.5 and 2x multipliers awarded after long-term staking apply to T-bill side only or both sides? Yes, T-bill side only. And just the percentages imply you could apply both sides, unlike the current T-bill multipliers. Thank him for me. Great project. So you just have to be, when you're looking at those percentage figures that they have out there, those percentages are based on multiplying the T-bill side only, or part of the LP. Whenever they're talking about the whole, the LP as a whole, then they will refer to that in total APR and total APY, as you see on the staking page.
Yeah, it's blended at that point.
Right. Alex Jones says, I would like to know when a working version of Gpool Metaverse will be ready. We all would like to know that.
Oh, absolutely.
So, again, that goes back to you know, one of the very first things you said. You know, the whole timing issue is tough on all of us because we all want it to be done now. Here's a good question. It says Robert TC has a question. It says how to survive. Ask Decard how to survive a bear market in the future without losing my assets. I don't think DeGard is a financial advisor.
No.
However, you know, the whole thing about surviving a bear market just in general is invest in quality projects that even if the price of the shares, let's say, go down, the team and the business is still working, and when the bear market's over, it recovers and probably comes back stronger. And so surviving the bear market is to be invested in assets that are going to hold their value throughout the bear market or recover after the bear market's over,
And
but still be around,
yeah,
you know.
and take advantage. If you believe in a project, as we do, the Theta project, then look at the bear market and these dips as an opportunity to dollar cost average. And bring your average cost down. If you spent $5,000 on Theta when it was above $10, and you take that same $5,000 and spend it now, you're getting more than 3 times the number of Theta tokens for that $5,000, and that brings your overall average price per token in your wallet down considerably. So that's how you survive. You take advantage of these lows,
Right.
but that comes from having a solid understanding of the project and believing in it. And you see a lot of FUD from people complaining because the price is so low right now, and they seem to totally forget that prices like this are a gift. you know
Yeah, that's the way I see it.
yeah
They are a gift. Right. Um, so, Robert, we'll do what we can to get you an answer there, but we'll see. Tracy Michael is looking forward to our interview with DGuard. I'd like to see a daily, weekly, and monthly reward summary tab and a CSV for each option if available to implement to LP stats. If able to implement to LP stats. Okay. So right now, now the brand new, just this past week, we got that CSV tab. I guess she's wanting to see, or he is wanting to see the daily, weekly, and monthly rewards summary tab, which I don't know why that couldn't be done. It seems like that wouldn't be so difficult to do. Rather than we do now have a daily. We can go back through and see the dailies, but
any given
weekly
day
and monthly.
it'll show you what your reward was that day. It's funny, coming from a software development side like I do. Whenever somebody says that should be easy to do, run. Because
Right.
the easier the layman thinks something's going to be, very often it's much more difficult than they anticipate. People
Right. And
think that, hey, if I can tell you what I want in 5 minutes, you ought to be able to do it in 5 minutes. Well, it don't work that way.
they don't work that way. So another question here that Tracy had was also an option to automate the rewards to staking green light option to the LP versus manual, if possible, would be nice. Thanks. And DGuard's actually already addressed that one, and he through Discord, and I've heard him on other places. And anyway, it's very simple. He doesn't want that much control or responsibility, because to do that, it would you would have to basically turn over a lot of access to your wallet to them, and you really don't want to do that. So he's like, no, not making that automatic. So
Yeah.
not going to happen. What is Gpool's registered physical address? Where can we visit them? And D Black would like to know that. So we can ask. As I understand it, he's located in Michigan, but where exactly, I don't know. But
Yeah.
what's the
and,
physical address? Where
you
can
know,
we visit them? Okay.
and probably the most that you're going to get to answer that question will be who the registered agent is for the corporation, and a a contact phone number, perhaps. I don't know that they will necessarily divulge a physical address, but they may.
Right.
But
And I can
these a lot
understand.
of companies don't want people just walking up to them.
Right.
You know.
Well, right. And especially starting off as, a smaller team and growing. But,
Yeah.
and so and I understand that. But I can also understand D. Black's assertion here that where are they? You would want to be able to go to them. Where the headquarters of Walmart is. We know where the headquarters of, we can find out where the headquarters of McDonald's is, or name any other company. You can find out where they're physically located, at least the physical address of the company. And so,
Yeah.
I can see his point. There's some real concern there. So that's something that would be a good question. And
Yep. But when
so,
you look at companies, I mean, I bet you if you may know the physical address of Walmart headquarters there in I guess they're in Little Rock, Arkansas.
well,
You may
Walmart is
know.
in up in Bentonville, Arkansas. That's where the headquarters is, and I've driven past it many, many times, and
They probably got top security. You
yeah,
can't just walk in there.
yeah. You're not just going to walk in and go up to wherever floor the CEO of Walmart's sitting on and demand to talk to them. It's not going to happen. But that is their physical address. You can stop by there and say, yeah, I'd like to see, and you'll probably get to sit down and wait for a long time. But
Oh yeah, yeah.
so
That's a fact. So yeah. But they're not hiding in the shadows.
no.
There's
So
he'll probably address that question because we are going to send him a link to this video so that he can know
right,
ahead of the actual interview, which by the way has been postponed due to circumstances beyond his control.
right,
We will be rescheduling the actual interview with DGuard, but we're going to go ahead and try to answer some of these questions ahead of time anyway.
right.
But he'll have the link to this video with all these comments, so he'll try and address what he can.
Right. Brenda O says, "Hi Teddy, my question is regarding T-Fuel value increase, I'm assuming. Say T-Fuel overnight goes to $3 and then looks to go back to $1. If I'm all in the LP pool, what's the best thing to do if, question one, I would like to increase my what I have in the LP. I know rebasing occurs. And two, I would like to pull some profits." All right, so I guess the question is here, if T-Fuel goes to $3 overnight and looks to go back to $1, which is common, you have a big run-up, there's going to be people that take profits, therefore you're going to have typically a retracement. If you're all in the LP, what's the best thing to do? So, well, if you want to be a trader and trade in and out, I would say then if you think, T-Fuel has gone up to a point where it looks like it's about to start retracing, coming back down. Well, at that point, you could look at selling, getting out of the pool or some portion of it out of the pool and selling the T-Fuel at the higher price. And then when it comes back down to a price that you think it's at a bottom, you would then start buying back in. You would accumulate more T-Fuel and a larger portion of the pool in doing this. Keep in mind, anytime you sell your LP and get out of the pool, you're now not earning your 50% APR on whatever you sold. So there are costs to getting out of the pool. That is, you're losing rewards, every 10 minutes. So
Yep, and the whole system is designed
Hmm.
to, your rewards will go up as the price of T fuel goes up. And
Right.
it's designed to, incentivize you to stay in the pool
Right.
rather than jumping out and taking the profits. And you can see that clearly if you go to the T-bill calculator on gpool.io and plug those numbers in, which you can do,
Right.
and just see what it does to your rewards if you plug in a $3 T fuel versus what it is currently. You'll see your reward is going to go up considerably. It's going to go up, proportional to the price rise in T fuel.
Right. If, in
I've done
short,
it. You've done it.
if T fuel doubles in price, your rewards double. Period. So, um, again, if you decide, well, I'm going to take my profit, quote unquote, you can do that. But now you're going to lose out on those rewards. And
Yep. And nobody can predict accurately
mm,
what a price is going to do. You may think it's reached its peak, and so you pull out and sell out, and guess what? It keeps going
right, it's
up.
so again,
So
like I said, if you decide you're going to be a trader, and trade in and out, you can do that, and if you're successful at it, you will earn or grow a larger share of the LP over time. But you'll also be losing um, gain profits.
and risking,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
when you think the top is in and you sell out, you could be
you
wrong,
could be wrong.
and
Yeah,
more people are wrong than right when it comes to predicting the tops.
right.
And you end up locking yourself out because you sell what you think is the peak, and it keeps going up. Guess what? It's going to cost you even more to buy back in.
Right.
So
Right.
that's one of the criteria that they built into the LP is the fact that your reward goes up when the price of T fuel goes up.
Right.
You know, and because the price of T bill is based on the number of T fuel times the price of T fuel, that's going to cause a rebase to occur. Also, which means you're going to end up getting
You'll miss out on the rebase.
more. Yeah, well, you'll miss out
The
on the
expansion.
rebase, but
Right.
also, if the price of T fuel is going up, that would cause the rebase to occur in the expansion phase, wouldn't it? Or is it the other way around?
Well, we're talking about trading, trying to trade the LP in and out, to take advantage
Yeah,
of the,
it's risky.
well,
That's all I'll say. It's risky.
people do it every day in other things. You can try it in this one as
Yeah,
well. I would think you're going to
yeah,
create for yourself a couple of negatives with doing it is that, well, one, now you're trying to time the market or figure out where the peaks and valleys are. That's notoriously hard to do. The other is you're going to be losing the profits or the rewards, the APR that you're going to be, you gain every 10 minutes. You're going to be losing that. And then thirdly, you create yourself a tax, for sure, a tax situation every time you trade and sell. So, you'll be paying more taxes probably. So that's the three things I could come up with why I would not want to do that. Um,
right. And
but
I'm in full agreement with you there, LT.
right, so but that's people, Brenda, go for it if that's what you think you want to do. But the pool
Yeah.
is set up that if you have and we have the moonshot tomorrow, and T fuel goes to $3. Well, we'll all be celebrating with you, and I'll be staying in because now I'm gonna be earning a lot more in the LP. And why would I want to? Again, I said, don't want to be killing that goose that laid the golden egg there. That thing is
No.
working for me. I'm gonna let it keep working. So, um, so
Greed has made a lot of people poorer rather
Well,
than wealthier.
yeah, and it's often people are taken advantage of because of their greed. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
Stephen Dodd says, is there the possibility of USDC T-drop or wrapped theta pairs with T-bill? Good question to ask, D-Guard. Of course, the only one that we know of is USDC T-bill. But T-drop and T-bill? I don't know. Why not? If you can do T-fuel and T-bill, why not T-drop and T-bill? But hey,
Yeah.
I don't know. That'd be great.
I would.
I'd be
I
all
would.
for it.
I would certainly think that that's a definite possibility.
Sure.
I mean, Theta Swap. They had to start somewhere,
Yep.
and they started with T Fuel T Bill. But I mean, they're going to keep adding liquidity pairs, I'm sure, and
Right.
it's only logical, in my opinion, that T Drop T Bill would be one of those pairs.
Mm-hmm. And the next question right next to that one was Pat Colentronic. He asked the same question. Any plans for a T-drop T-bill LP? We'll put that to him. I haven't heard anything from that. I might try that one on Discord. That would be a good one. Put out there on Discord. So Daniel Vachtwin, in regards to staking T-Fuel to their edge nodes, are we earning T-Fuel on video encoding jobs or just staking T-Fuel? I'm assuming they're talking about when you're staking your T-Fuel to the elite edge node within the G-pool, within G-pool.
Well, the edge node is, whether it's an elite edge node or regular edge node, if you're getting video encoding jobs, yes, you are earning T-Fuel.
But I think this question is in regards to taking T-Fuel to their edge nodes. So I would assume he's talking about G-pool edge nodes. Like, I don't run an edge node because I don't have the ability to do so where I live and have it up and running. And so therefore I stake to my T-Fuel to the G-pool edge node. So I'm staked and earning T-Fuel because of the T-Fuel staking rewards.
Right, but I don't think you are sharing
Right.
in any T-Fuel earned by video encoding jobs that are performed by their edge node that you are staking to. Unless you're, I know that they did talk about, there's going to be like gold and silver edge nodes, and the higher the edge node, you would get something, along those lines, but I don't think they've actually implemented those higher level edge nodes.
You mean within the
yet.
G-pool team, the G-pool edge nodes?
Right.
Yeah.
Remember back before they actually came about, they were talking about, I think, three or four different levels of edge node. And so they, that was discussed where in the mix that is. I know right now it's just the basic edge node that you can stake to.
Right.
But they were discussing higher levels where you would get some other benefits to that edge node, but
right. And
that's not in place at this time.
Yeah, I don't. That's a good question to send on over there to them and say, hey, will these, also when they start earning rewards on storing NFTs and video content, those kinds of things, will they reap the reward in that as well? So, yeah, don't know. That's a good question for the team, though, to ask D-Guard. We can send that over to them, they said, D-Guard today, for whatever reason, difficulties, wasn't able to have the interview that we thought we would. We are setting it up, and it's going to be a little more in depth actually next week, if we can get that worked out. So we'll be looking forward to it again. So.
Oh yeah, definitely looking forward to doing that. Would have been interesting, but he was in his vehicle transiting somewhere at the time, so he was not going to be able to answer some of the questions readily because of the fact that he was not at his home base, so to speak, with access to some of the things that he would have needed access to answer those questions. So
right. So we have been asked to wait until next week, so we can do that.
It was a mutually agreed upon delay, because we felt that we could give you a better interview if we waited rather than trying to push forward with this one today. And
right. And I guess the other thing was just a bit different, and you've interviewed him before, Teddy, but you just spoke with him and then passed along the information you gained. You're asking him now to go on record you were going to air the interview from
right.
him. So and so he wanted to be able to be sitting in front of his desktop computer to access any possible reference information, so that he would make sure he said everything very correct, so that there would be no misunderstanding about an answer, particularly anything that had to do with
he's going to do up some
calculations,
some graphics, like through a PowerPoint, and be able to do a much better presentation, because I kind of threw this live interview kind of thing at him last minute, and so the delay is my fault, not his. He wanted to be prepared with graphics and things of that nature, to give a better presentation. So we felt that it was best to postpone it or reschedule it, if you will. But we're still going through your questions and trying to answer what we can, and he may be able to shed a little bit more light on some of it. But that's just the way things roll sometimes.
So anyway, that was all the questions that came through from this morning's video.
Yeah.
So you have a few more days if we come up with a few more questions to include, and get those submitted as well, as far as questions to be asked to the DGARD and the team there. So, and let's keep in mind they're going to be doing a live AMA the 18th of March.
Yeah, that's only two weeks
DGARD,
away.
Yeah, it's only 2 weeks away. But he wanted to, from what he indicated, is he wanted to do this interview with you to help get some of those questions answered, or at least some of the answers out there before that AMA, so that other questions that hadn't been brought up yet would then be aired at the AMA. So he's trying to get more information out there, and so he's trying to reach out and do more interviews as well as do an AMA.
Yeah, so. And he's better able to answer the questions if he has advanced copies of the questions, because then he can research them to the extent that he needs to, and present you more accurate information, knowing them ahead of time, to not have to be blindsided by a question that he doesn't know the answer off the top of his head, but he can come up with an answer for you if he's given time. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to send him a link to this video so that he can see all these questions. Plus, we've got other questions that we've put together ourselves. LT has, and we're going to also, transmit those to him as well in Discord. And so when we do this interview on Tuesday, I think is when we're going to do it. Tuesday, late afternoon or evening. And it'll be better that way. So hang in there, people.
Yep. So
all right. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and and close out this recording, and then we can talk some more if need be offline. So thank you for sharing your time, LT, and hopefully you had a good meal out there and at wherever it was you went in Santa Fe there.
Santa Fe, we did. Good lunch, and had to make it back for this, and we're probably going to head back out. So out running around today in Santa Fe, enjoying the beautiful weather and the beautiful sights. So,
well, that's a wrap for this presentation, so cue the music. If you enjoyed the video, then hit that thumbs up for me, and I'll see you in the next video.